Broadcasting the boisterous part of the fastest game in the world. Strap on your lids and lace them up, Brooke. You're listening to the BarnChirpers Hockey Podcast. Take it away.
Clap it up,
boys. Clap it up. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you cannot see Justin right now because Justin, and if you're not watching right now, I am happy with glee. Justin's about to do a jersey reveal, and I am so excited. I don't know what he's going to get. Hopefully, maybe we'll play the game again. But before we get to that, we are the BarnChirpers. Of course, you can chirp at us at BarnChirpers Pod. We're on that Threads thing too. I don't know what it is, but you can check it out if you know what it is at BarnChirpers Pod. Wherever you're watching, listening, whatever the case, please like, subscribe, give us 5-star. We would appreciate that so much. So, Justin, jersey reveal time. Do you want to play the game? Do I get to guess?
Yeah, you want to guess the three?
Okay. All right. I'm going to say, because of how you felt about my Tage one of them has got to be a Darlene home blue.
Of course. Yes, 1,000.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 2. I feel like you definitely got a Devs one finally, a new Devs one. So you don't have to you don't have to say yes or no, but there's so many that you've talked about though. I got to go. I'm just going to go with my gut. One is a home red Jackie Hughes.
It's a good guess.
Ooh, it's not a Jack Hughes. Oh boy. Well then I guess it's got to be a Timo time. Red Timo time.
God, I wish.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll say this. It would have been a Timo if they were available from where we order from.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, shoot. Man. Okay, but it's a Devs, right?
Do you want an answer?
Oh, so it's not a wow. Okay, so I have no idea really then. Okay. Shot in the dark. What else have you talked about? I don't even know right off the top of my head.
I will say that here's the 2 hints I'll give you for the other 2, or the hint I'll give you for the other 2, because one is a true shot in the dark. I don't expect you to get it, but the other one is just a guy that I like a lot, that we've talked about a lot on this program.
You know what? I feel like you got a home blue a lot, or a home an alternate flying skate Elias Pettersson.
Oh, that's a good guess.
No.
Okay,
I'm stumped. I have no idea.
All right, so since you didn't get the one that I'm wearing today, you never would have guessed, I don't think, because it is a team that I despise. So I'll reveal the team, and then you see if you can guess the player.
Oh, Canes. Well, I mean, Oh, 58. Who is 58? I don't even know who 58 is. Is that Chatfield?
It's a new Cane.
New Cane.
Came over in free agency. It's a Michael Bunting, sir.
Oh, Michael Bunting. Okay.
I just like the way his name looks on this sweater specifically.
I like the gray on top. I really like that.
Me
on
too.
The ice, I don't think I really like that, but seeing it on camera right now, I like that gray.
And here's something I couldn't see when I ordered it. You can't see this on camera either. There is like a really cool, like, it's almost like water design in the red, like in the stripes. Yeah. That I noticed when I opened it. I went with this one just in case you ended up guessing it, because you never would have guessed that this would be the first one I wore.
Yeah, that wasn't on my radar. When you said a team that you despised, I kind of thought the Bees for a second, but I was like, who for the Bees would Justin get? But
I just really like this sweater a lot. I love this design, like a great deal, enough for me to get one.
Yeah, I mean, the flags look like, just on camera, the flags look really cool too. Like, they look slick.
Yeah. Like, I can't wait to show you the other ones I got.
Like, there's a lot of detail, and I can see that from the camera. So that's pretty cool. I'm wearing this old school. One time they wore this alternate road black. Obviously it's OV, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool, man. That's yeah, I never would have guessed that. Not once, not never. I never.
Nobody ever would, because especially after last season, why would I ever get a Carolina Hurricane sweater? But
much less
I like it.
I've never heard you even. I mean, you've mentioned bunting before, but not in like a praising way necessarily. So,
I'll tell you this is what sold me on the guy, and it's stupid, but it is what it is. Corey and I have been playing the Sharks. We played a season of NHL 23 with the Sharks. In the off season after our first season, we signed Michael Bunting to a really cheap contract, and he came out and scored like 6 goals in 5 games or something for us. And I was like, I like playing with this guy. So
yeah, all right, that tracks. Let's get a sweater. I mean, from the place that we get them from, why not? If it's a good deal, why not?
Exactly.
Why not?
Exactly.
And if you want to get in on that, ladies and gentlemen, you can chirp at us at BarnChirpers Pod, or leave a comment wherever you're listening or watching too, and maybe we'll hook you up with the place that we get our sweaters from. Maybe if you're lucky.
Yes.
So Justin, we had a little outing last Friday for your birthday. We went to see the Norfolk Admirals versus the Worcester Railers. I said it right this time. And I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts. It was your birthday after all. How did you feel with that birthday being celebrated at the Norfolk Scope in Norfolk, Virginia, watching the Norfolk Admirals versus the Worcester Railers?
So first of all, I want to thank you for kindly correcting me several times over the course of the night, because I kept saying wheeling. To be fair, wheeling is the Nailers, Worcester is the Railers. So it's not like I was way out of line.
It's very close.
But
no, it's very close.
I gotta tell you, man, like when you go out to a hockey game, there's nothing like it, even at an ECHL level. When you get out to the arena, and even when they're just doing warm-ups, they're skating around for warm-up, you get out there and there's just this feeling of being in the building that I can't describe.
Yeah, sure.
And over the last year and a half, hockey has definitely taken over as my favorite live sport. NFL is garbage live. But baseball used to be. But as I'm going to more and more hockey games, I'm realizing that something about being in the barn, something about being there, especially if you get to go with your friends. And we had the pleasure, we were 7 deep at the Scope. There's just something about being there that is beyond description for hockey. So I want to say that, it was a Friday night, a little light on the attendance. You hate to throw something under the bus like that, but it was a little light for Friday.
Considering it was, the second game after their home opener, it was pretty light. And that's unfortunate to say. And I mean, before we even get to that, to your point about just the atmosphere in the barn, literally just walking into the Scope before even getting to the seat, it has that atmosphere. You know what I mean? Again, it's the third tier league, not taking anything or throwing shade at the ECHL, but it's the third tier league. But even still, walking into the game, knowing you're about to watch a hockey game, there's just that atmosphere of going to a game, like you said. So that I agree on that. It's also my favorite part about going to hockey games. It's like, ooh, yeah, we're about to watch some hockey. But getting back to that point, it is unfortunate that the house was a little light. We talked about, maybe we'll talk about it later in this rant or this conversation about it. But Norfolk Scope, I have some ideas of how to make more money. You should hit us up at BarnChirpers Pod because I know a way you can make more money. Anyway, continue.
So I also want to say that what was great about this was the same thing as when we went to Nashville, that feeling of you don't have to wear the whole home team sweater to connect with people. Liam and I showed up in our Nashville Predators sweaters, and not only did I not expect to see Preds fans out and about, but I Preds were almost far and away the most fans I saw. I ran into so many Preds fans to go, hey man, cool. Hey, what's up? I saw a guy in a PK Subban. That was cool. But wearing your sweaters out and about, to a hockey game is because you showed up rocking your Tage, and it's just like that feeling of this dude likes hockey as much as I do. Even I know like buying a sweater is like really base level, but like you do kind of gotta like the sport to go out and get one. So it's just a great feeling all in all. And again, to have your buddies there, like you and I were just chirping back and forth about stuff during the game about like,
Yeah.
oh man, that kill needed to happen, or why are they not killing here, or oh man, lost a week. Like we're doing running commentary the whole time. It's just I love going to hockey games. And I do highly recommend anybody who is hearing this voice currently, whether you're watching or listening, go, if you're in our area, go support the ads. If you have an ECHL team in your area, go, no matter whom it is, go watch live hockey. And I guarantee you, your thoughts on the sport will change.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was the boys. Again, don't want to throw them under the bus because I think they played 2 really good periods. It just that middle period, I don't know what happened. They didn't come out of the locker room, that's for sure. But first period, they were buzzing the first period. Shots on goal, making good passes. And went on, I think they had 2 power play opportunities the first period. They didn't connect on either, but they did get on the board 5-on-5. I believe I don't think it was a power play, but either way, or excuse me, they didn't get on the board, but it was good play. Second period, they didn't show up. Like, what happened, guys? They literally didn't show up. And then the third period, they started to show up a little bit too late because they got a couple back on the board, but they were already down by so many. So it was tough. It was a tough loss. And more so, honestly, it was kind of a tough loss to watch because it's like, what happened to that first period ads?
Yeah.
What happened? Because you guys were buzzing, like I said. And I guess my only real – and listen, you can't win every game. Obviously, it's a long season. But I think my biggest takeaway is I would have loved to see either the captain, because he looked like a big boy, or I'm forgetting his name right now, and I apologize for that, ads fans. But I would have loved to see a big hit happen in that third period because that would have shifted the momentum because they were starting to buzz with about 9 minutes left when they got that second goal. A big hit, man, that really could have upped the momentum, and who knows what could have happened after then. But there wasn't really any big hits, any momentum changes. It was just kind of like first period ads all over them. Second period, the Railers were doing whatever they pleased. And then the third period was almost 50-50 until the last 9. But there wasn't any real like shifting throughout the game. It was just one side or the other. So that was my only real critique is I would have loved to see a big hit. So hopefully somebody on that squad is capable enough to throw a big hit because next time that's what you need.
And we'll learn the names as we go. So, unfortunately we've only had the one game so far, so we're not familiar with names, but there's a couple numbers that stood out. Number 1, number 35 is the goalie. And I guess he's like the starting goalie because he started Sunday and pitched a shutout 4-0 against those same Worcester Railers. On Friday, we saw, I guess, his backup, number 1. Again, I apologize if I forget his name. That dude deserves some stick taps because he was standing on his head. Like they could have been getting murdered if he wasn't putting so many stops. He looked good out there. Again, it sucks to have, I think it ended up being 4 poked through. But he looked good, and he was making a lot of clutch stops. They could have easily lost 9-10-0. Like that's how much Worcester was on them in the second period.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think really only one goal was truly his. I mean, I know he's the goalie, of course, but really only one of those goals was his fault. Like the other 2 or 3 was just trash out in front of the net that nobody seemed to take care of. So, but he was standing on his head, like you said, so it could have easily been a blowout. And thankfully for him, it wasn't. So, but again, like you said, stick taps to the ads for coming back and getting a shutout against those the Railers. So, looking forward to popping in and seeing some more games this year. I would love to see them take on South Carolina Stingrays. That's the Washington affiliate. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for when they come to town.
So 2 other things that I want to nod to before we leave this topic. Number 1, Justin Young, number 21. I actually went out because I was looking for his picture to put on as our thumbnail today. Unfortunately, I could not find him. Hey, Admirals, do better at getting photos out and get at your SEO so I can find these photos for stuff just like this. But Justin Young, number 21, you and I both noted that he was all over the ice in that first period. And then suddenly, I don't know if he just got shut down and we just didn't notice him, but he didn't seem to have the puck after that first period. And it's like, but why? So Justin Young is a good young player.
Yeah, he was definitely the best player on the ice, 100%. I'm not sure where he's at in his career, but from that game, he looks like he has a bright future. So, I would love to see him move up and get a shot on the Jets squad. The Jets could use a kid like that. Truly, they don't have anything else going on, really.
It's true.
And then also, again, I'll say it one more time. I won't put it on blast here because even though we're the BarnChirpers, so I could chirp them like crazy, but Norfolk Scope, I have some ideas of how you can fill the seats. Chirp at us at BarnChirpers Pod. I'm going to help you fill those seats and make some money. And we don't even ask for that much back, just like 1% cut back. No big deal.
Truly, we just want to help. Like it was sad to
truly.
see.
I really don't need anything back for it.
So I forget whatever the other thing was. So it couldn't have been that important. Maybe it'll come back to me before we end the show. But it was a blast out. Yeah, it was a blast out at the Norfolk Scope. So shall we move on to the 3 stars of the week there, Joe?
I think we should, because I think a lot has happened over this last week. It hasn't been a full week since the last time we recorded, but a lot has happened in those 5 or 6 days. And so this is one of our newest favorite segments, the 3 stars of the week. And Justin, this one is you.
So number 3, we're giving a nod and a stick tap to an entire team. The Philadelphia Flyers played some great hockey this week. Except for the blowout against the Ducks, they played some good, hard hockey. I recommend, Montreal has definitely been my favorite team to watch so far this year, but Philly is a close second. Like watching the Flyers out there, it's not like they're buzzing. It's not like they're, not like they're crisp, clean passes. It's gritty. It's a lot of hits. It's a lot of just marking your man. It's a lot of there's some good clean passes, but they're just playing hard. If you like to watch some dudes that should be getting blown out, go out and play hard hockey and play really hard for Carter Hart. Go watch the Flyers play some hockey, and you will enjoy it. They got a couple big wins. TK has looked like a sniper. It looked like a superstar caliber player. Again, Carter Hart, has been stopping most things. I don't know if he had the nod against the Ducks, but if he did, sorry, dude. But everybody else on the Flyers,
it wasn't fun.
Okay. But everybody else, they're playing hard. That's why I'm having trouble pointing to one guy, this dude has stood out. No, it's been the whole team. They've all played really, really well and or really hard, not well, really hard. I think and when you're Philadelphia, this year is supposed to be like a nothing year. The fact that they've been in almost every game that they've played it says a lot. So 3rd star of the week and a stick tap to the Philadelphia Flyers, Joe.
I agree. And the only thing I want to add, and I hate to agree and give a stick tap to the Philadelphia Flyers because especially when Corey's not here and I can't chirp to his face about it. But truly, I mean, a Torts team is not going to go down like without swinging. So it's cool to see that they, at the very least, they're, like you said, they're playing hard no matter what. And yeah, I'm looking at the scores. I mean, there's only been, let's see, Sens put up 5 on them. Dallas put up 5 on them. That was an overtime loss. And then the Ducks put up 7. So 3 out of their 10 games, there's going to be 9 games, they've had, 5 goals or more. That's not bad considering the team that we're talking about. I think the only downfall of this team is because they're playing so hard. Like, they are eventually probably going to win a few more games as the season goes on, probably more than they should, which could hurt them in the lottery before next year's draft, right? If they win too many games, if they play too hard and win some games that maybe they shouldn't, that might affect their lottery position. But that's a conversation for another time. But yeah, I mean, stick taps for the Flyers. I mean, I'll give you a little clap too. So they've been again, I wouldn't say fun to watch, but it's been interesting that they haven't gotten blown out. So moving along, a team that did blow them out, the Anaheim Ducks, Justin, have been on a 4-game winning streak over this last week. And my guy, Frank the Tank Vetrano, gets a hattie against that Philadelphia Flyers team. And at that point, which was Saturday, he was only the second player who had gotten a hat trick that year. The other one being, of course, Austin Matthews, whoop-de-doo. But so, I mean, Frank the Tank has not really been he scores goals. He's always scored goals in his career, but he's never been like the guy to get a hat trick. It just so happens that he's in a good spot on Anaheim. And Anaheim right now is, I mean, speaking of teams that are winning some games and playing hard, that they kind of don't really have a reason to, I guess. I mean, this was last week, but on their win streak, they beat Columbus in OT. And again, that's Columbus, but they beat Boston in OT, handed them their first loss. I mean, nobody would have picked the Ducks to win that game against Boston, Yeah. Then again, they go into Philly, beat them, and then they just beat the Penguins 4-3 last night at the time of this recording. And again, the Pens aren't really what they were, but still, like, they're going into on the road, and yeah, they're 4-0 on this road trip. So stick taps and sellies to the Anaheim Ducks on that.
Yeah, the Ducks, again, we went into the season going, what are they? Like, we don't know what they are. They made enough moves where it's like, they could be a better club. But to see them go on this run, and most of the games that they've been in, they've played close. Like they played Vegas real close, if I recall. There hasn't been this game, oh, that's where the Ducks are. They just stink. That's right. And especially when a guy like Zegras has been benched essentially because he's not playing hard enough. It's been the Adam Henriques of the world, the Frank Vetranos of the world, like Cam Fowler, like just going out there and playing hard. Gudis, I think it was on one of the games this week where Goody was just out there fighting. Like, I mean, it's what he does, but like just getting out there and getting in people's heads. And I mean, you put a quality veteran club in front of John Gibson, things might happen. And Dostal, I think I saw him get lit up once, but like he's getting nods and he's playing well and keeping them in games too. So it's not all on John Gibson. So yeah, man, the Ducks going 4-0 this week. Watch out for the Ducks. Here come the Ducks. Do they have enough to keep that going? I don't know, but like they showed up this week, and that's all you can do. Show up game by game, week by week.
And just the fact that it's on a road trip. It'd be something if they were playing at home. Yeah, sure. It's easy to play at home, but being on the road on the East Coast, like that's kind of hard to do. Go to, win out on your road trip. So that's kind of an extra little motivation to go back home, and hopefully for their sake they can keep it going, because now you're playing your normal teams, the Sharks, the Kings, the Kraken, the Flames, the Oilers, so hopefully they can keep it going.
It's crazy too, because they could still be in the conversation after this run, because a lot of those teams you just mentioned haven't gotten it going yet. Specifically the Oilers and the Kraken. The Kraken won last night, but like the Kraken have been very, not even hit or miss, very miss so far this year.
Very
the Oilers, the Oilers just have not really. Again, I think the Oilers won last night too, but like the Oilers have not been consistent yet this year. So, the Sharks have played hard, but like the Sharks aren't winning hockey games, so they're just going out and playing hard. The Sharks are what we thought the Ducks and the Flyers were going to be. The Sharks are exactly who we thought they were. So, very happy to go with. We're mirroring the NHL here, but the number one star of the week, he had a very slow start, and if we include the Hattie against Montreal last Monday, or I think it was Tuesday, technically we're not, 7 goals in like a 3-game span. Tyler Toffoli, Jack, he finally showed up. Tyler Toffoli, and he's doing other things on the ice too, but like that Timo, Tyler, and Jack line, they're buzzing out there, and they look great. And the passes that are going between them, and the physicality that the three of them are showing, it's going to get ugly playing against New Jersey, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because that
I want to interrupt you for 1 second, Justin.
Sure.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second, and then I'll let you continue, because I want to go back. I want to find another stat here, but I want to say this before I leave. Tough, 8 games, 7 goals, 3 assists, 10 points, -1. Continue.
Yeah, he's doing other things out there. I think that like really that stat line really highlights that he's doing other things out there. He's already heating up. Jack has been Jack all season. Timo is starting to look like Timo. Like he's gotten a lot of apples this last week. That line is going to be scary. And right now, Tyler Toffoli leading the charge with 7 goals over the week. But in the time frame since we've done the show, he's only scored 4. But they've really put it together, and Tyler Toffoli is part of that reason. So Tyler Toffoli, what about him, Joe?
Tyler Toffoli, killing it. Not considered a superstar, but this is my superstar chirp of the week, quote unquote. This is my new segment that I'm just debuting right now. I didn't tell Justin, but my quote unquote superstar check-in of the week. Have you ever heard of a guy named Austin Matthews? Yeah, well, he got a hat trick 2 games in a row, the first 2 games of the season. Well, guess who hasn't scored pretty much? Guess who scored 1 goal since the first 2 games of the season? Yes, that was correct. That would be Austin Matthews. He didn't score in the 3rd game. He didn't score in the 4th game. The 5th game, he got 1 goal in the 6th game. No goals in the 7th game. No goals in the 8th game. So Austin Matthews, wouldn't you know it, Justin? 8 games played, and he has 7 goals, 3 assists, and 10 points, just like Tyler Toffoli. But which one is a superstar and which one is not? Thank you. This has been Superstar Check-in of the Week.
I love it. I while we're on the devs though, I want to give a special nod to Eric Holla.
Yes.
Who I think goal wise is in this span of games. I think he has 3 goals, but again, talk about people who are doing things that aren't just that don't show up on the stat sheet. The other night against Minnesota, huge penalty kill where our penalty kill unit was out for like the entire 2 minutes, basically. Minnesota they on the power play, we couldn't get him out of the zone. Holla, huge block, and then huge clear at the very tail end of that penalty kill. And those are the kind of things that Eric Holla brings, but he also brings scoring. And he also brings assists. So huge stick tap to Eric Holla for the week he had. Just not quite enough to get in there in the top 3 stars.
Well, even though that some people might just call you a homer for talking about devs, Justin, but I agree. Eric Hall has always been a solid piece on any team that he's on. And you're correct. He does have 3 goals, 3 points over the last 2 games. And, oh, wait, this is another superstar check-in here. Eric Hall, 7 games played, 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 points, plus 2. So he's only 2 goals and 4 points off of superstar Austin Matthews. Interesting. Oh, anyway, this has been Superstar Check-In, part 2 of the week. I want to give it I always love chirping Austin Matthews. For this, and I do have one other honorable mention of the week. And of course, we got to keep the trend going. It's the Arizona Coyotes. We got to talk about the Yotes. So last night on Monday, they blew out the Chicago Blackhawks 8-1. And in the same game, Jack McBain and Liam O'Brien both got a Gordie Howe hat trick. Of course, that's being a goal and assist and a fight. And they assisted each other on their goal. So that's pretty I just love the Yotes right now. We say it every single week, but I had to get that in there. And there's really a reason to mention it because the Yotes, again, like they were playing Chicago, but nobody expects the Yotes to do anything. So that is a game that we talked about last week. This is a game that they should win. They should beat the Chicago Blackhawks, and they did. They murdered them. So that is not only good for the Yotes squad moving forward, but also, again, we're getting those valuable 2 points that could mean the difference of a wild card spot, truly, when we get to the end of the season. They're playing in this Central Division that what's going on there? I mean, nobody's really running. I guess Colorado is kind of running away with it. But other than that, the other spots are kind of up for grabs, truly.
It's funny you mentioned Colorado, though, because Colorado last week we were talking about being one of the last unbeaten teams and since have fallen flat on their face 2 games in a row. So anybody in that division, like if the Coyotes continue to play,
too. They got shutout.
Yeah, it's just disappearing. So if the Yotes continue to play, they'll be there at the end of the season. And like you said, this win that they needed to win against Chicago, they go out there and blow it out. That could be the difference of them getting in the playoffs. Those 2 points could be it. And I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs. Like, I mean, anything can happen. So yeah, man, like,
yeah, it's true.
We talk about them every week, but the Arizona Coyotes are worth your while. Watch a Coyotes game. You'll see it immediately. Those 2 huge, cannot say enough about Dursey and Dumba going to that club because they have gone there and produced and everybody has shown up around them except last night, 8 goals. My guy, Nick Schmaltz, got nothing. He got a
0.
How do you get a -1? He got a -1 in an 8-goal game.
Yeah. You were supposed to be watching Bedard on that one, and he scored his goal.
So here it is.
That's all right, though.
But yeah, so that's our 3 stars of the week. I also wanted to give a tip of the hat to Turbo Teravainen because he's had quite the season. So little Carolina love for Turbo.
Yeah, especially coming back since he was injured in the playoffs last year. So good on him. Too bad he's on a squad that's going to choke when it matters. Oh, did I say that?
All right, so
all right, let's pull that goalie. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, empty net. Let's do it.
So a little bit of sad news to start this empty net. So Adam Johnson, 29, he was affiliated with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He essentially got cut on the throat by a skate. I believe that was last Saturday or Sunday. He was playing in Nottingham, England, and he ended up dying, unfortunately. And that's really, I mean, a young player just in general, but just the way that it happened, you just getting cut on the ice, which can definitely happen. We're playing hockey, things happen with scrums and, whatever. So I guess maybe maybe the neck guard thing conversation might come up, but I think the biggest thing is just thoughts and to his family and all his friends that that's really unfortunate to lose anybody, but especially for an on ice incident. You know what I mean? Like you're playing the game that you love and it ended up killing you. That's gruesome, So thoughts and prayers out to his friends and family.
I don't want to like go too far in the weeds, but like the internet's got an internet, and I will say that there's some really, really gross things being thrown around about the guy whose blade actually nicked him. Like, don't be gross, people. Like, especially a man died. Like,
and it's not his fault. Like,
yeah,
for real.
Can we not? Can we just not do that?
Like,
so.
Back in the playoffs last year, I forget the kid's name, but he got sliced on the eye because of a scrum at the net in the Vegas game, and he had like 27 stitches down his face, and he almost lost his eye. Like it's hockey. Scrums happen and things happen, man. Like you can't blame the guy. Like anyway, moving on. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, this was last Thursday, the Pat McAfee Show had a whole segment on, they did some clips where they were watching hockey, and Pat McAfee was hyping up the league. And this was the most promotion that hockey has ever received, even from an outside source. The league has never promoted the league this much. And Pat McAfee was giving stick taps and sallies all around to the league. So we love to see that. A guy with the amount of stardom and platform like Pat McAfee loving on some hockey. So stick taps to you, Pat McAfee, of the Pat McAfee Show.
Yeah, man. You got to love when you find out like somebody like Pat McAfee is into hockey. I don't know if he just kind of stumbled on it, but like I think he called the segment "Hockey is Awesome," which was really cool. You got to love that.
Exactly. And I forget the NBA star that just saw his first NHL game too, but that's been a kind of a thing as well. So, hey, we're here for it. We love to see it.
Yeah, man.
The last thing that I want, and I saw this this afternoon, Sportsnet is reporting that the Calgary Flames have paused all contract negotiations following a poor start to the season. Of course, we know in the offseason they were trying to sign their guys like Backlund, Lindholm, and now contract talks are apparently paused because Calgary sucks.
Dude, we talked about, again, when Calgary came up, and then when we talked about, predictions for the season, they should have been good last year. They weren't. I don't know. I guess maybe we hoped that the change of scenery with the new coach, maybe they'd show up this season. You look at on paper, Calgary Flames should be in the conversation at the very least. But like every time you turn around, you look at Calgary and they're getting worked, or they've played tough a couple times. But like I've watched some Calgary games, not fun, not fun to watch the Calgary Flames at all.
And so we've talked about Nikita Zadorov on this show before because he stood up essentially for, we don't have to go into all of it again, but he stood up and sounded off about the league and their bans and all that. We don't have to go into it again, but apparently Zaddy called out the Calgary Flames on playing poorly too, and he was, I don't know, have the exact quote in front of me, but essentially he was like, "You guys wanted a new coach, we got a new coach. Why aren't you showing up?" So Zadorov might be a guy that I'm going to get a Calgary sweater of. Like I love that guy. But anyway, like you said, Calgary is it's not the coach anymore. So what is it? Must be you. Maybe you need to show up, Jonathan Huberdeau. Maybe you need to show up, Nazim Kadri.
Dude, you bring up Kadri, and just as a quick fantasy look in, that's a guy I picked up super late in the draft thinking, what a steal. Like this guy will get me, a couple points here and there. I dropped him last week. I was like, and I don't care. Like, I was like, whatever, man. You know, he might heat
he's
up.
like dash
maybe.
12.
Yeah, it's just ugly. Like, it's one thing if you're not putting up points, it's like I can wait that out, but you're not getting me periffs either. You're not taking shots, you're not putting hits on the body. Your plus minus is terrible. Like, what are you doing you're literally the worst thing happening on my club. Like, get out of here. So yeah. I haven't looked back. I see nobody in our league has fallen for it and scooped him up. But yeah, it's just not been fun to watch the Calgary Flames. So
not at all. So well, I think that's it for this week. So again, chirp at us at BarnChirpers Pod. Give us a thread. I'm not sure how that works, but you guys probably do. So at BarnChirpers Pod across the board there. Again, wherever you're watching or listening, give us a like, subscribe, and a 5-star. We appreciate that. Give some love to our Norfolk Admirals as well. And of course, if you haven't already, it's belated, but wish Justin a happy birthday. And I'll take a happy birthday too. It's belated, but it's okay. Anyways, with nothing else, stick taps and sellies, boys. Clap it up. Have a good week.
Clap it up. Yeah. End that recording.